The movie begins with a mysterious old woman lurking in a house while its occupants sleep peacefully. Renai and Josh Lambert, along with their 3 children, have just settled into a new home. One morning, as Renai flips through a family photo album with her son Dalton, he notices something odd. There are no pictures of his father as a child. Renai explains that Josh has always disliked being photographed. One evening, Dalton notices the attic door slightly ajar and hears strange noises coming from upstairs. Curiosity gets the better of him, and he ventures inside. While climbing a ladder to switch on the light, the ladder suddenly breaks, causing him to fall. As he lies on the floor, he seems frozen in terror, staring into the darkness as if something sinister is watching him. Shaken by the incident, Renai and Josh warn Dalton to stay out of the attic and tuck him into bed. However, the following day, Dalton does not wake up. The couple rushes him to the hospital, but doctors are baffled, unable to explain his sudden, coma-like state. 3 months later, Dalton is brought back home, still unresponsive. Shortly after his return, strange and unsettling events begin to unfold. Renai hears an eerie voice through the baby monitor yelling, "I want it now." She also discovers a bloody handprint on Dalton's bed and encounters a terrifying figure in her infant daughter's room. Matters worsen when their other son, Foster, mentions that he's scared because Dalton walks around at night. When Renai tries to share her concerns with Josh, he remains skeptical, until the terrifying figure physically attacks her one night. Distraught and desperate for safety, Renai begs Josh to move, and the family relocates to a new house in search of peace. In their new home, the strange occurrences persist, growing even more unsettling. Renai notices the presence of a peculiar boy who appears to be dancing, and the events take on an increasingly menacing tone. One night, Josh's mother, Lorraine, shares a disturbing dream she had. In her dream, she walked into Dalton's room and spotted a shadowy figure lurking in the corner. When she asked, "What do you want?" the figure chillingly replied, "Dalton." The situation escalates when Lorraine suddenly sees a red-faced entity standing behind Josh, roaring at her. Shortly after, Dalton is violently attacked in his room. Realizing the severity of the situation, Lorraine seeks help from Elise Reiner, a paranormal investigator. Elise, along with her team, examines Dalton's room. She describes what she senses to one of her assistants, who sketches an eerie figure with a red face, hollow black eyes, and sharp features on the ceiling, a figure identical to the one Lorraine had seen in her vision. Elise explains to Renai and Josh that Dalton possesses a rare gift, the ability to astral project during sleep. This ability has allowed him to unconsciously travel far beyond his physical body, believing it to be nothing more than dreams. However, his adventurous spirit led him too deep into a realm known as the Further, a shadowy dimension where lost and tormented souls reside. Now, Dalton's spirit is trapped there, leaving his physical body empty and vulnerable. Elise warns them that this empty vessel has become a target for restless spirits who yearn for a second chance at life. Some of these entities are malicious, including a sinister old woman and a terrifying man, but the most dangerous of all is the red-faced demon. Unlike the others, this demon has a darker purpose, seeking to claim Dalton's body for his own evil intentions. Elise emphasizes that while the spirits are attempting to take over, the process requires both time and energy, giving the family a small window of hope to save Dalton before it's too late. Initially, Josh is doubtful of Elise's claims, but his skepticism fades when he discovers disturbing drawings by Dalton that resemble the demonic figure Elise had described. Determined to help, the group conducts a séance to communicate with Dalton. During the session, Dalton's presence becomes apparent, but the demon takes control of his body, attacking the group with terrifying force. Other malevolent entities also join the chaos, each vying to claim Dalton's body. After the session, Elise reveals an unsettling truth with Lorraine's help: Josh also has the ability to astral project. As a child, he had been tormented by an evil spirit, an old woman who loomed closer to him in every photograph taken during that time. Lorraine shares photos from Josh's childhood, showing the shadowy woman getting progressively nearer to him until she was nearly touching him. This traumatic experience explains Josh's lifelong fear of photographs. Elise proposes that Josh use his ability to venture into the spirit realm and retrieve Dalton's soul. Though hesitant, Josh agrees to the plan. To prepare for his journey, Elise places Josh into a trance, guiding him into the astral plane. Moments later, Josh's spirit separates from his body, and he finds himself watching his sleeping form in the chair, surrounded by the others in the room. Venturing into a misty, empty void, Josh begins searching for Dalton. His path eventually leads him to the house they had recently moved out of, guided by a strange boy who points him toward it. Inside, Josh stumbles upon a horrific scene, a family sitting eerily still in the living room before being gruesomely shot by a smiling female family member. Shaken but undeterred, Josh presses on and makes his way to the attic, where he finds a mysterious red door, the same one Dalton had drawn in his pictures. Just as Josh attempts to enter, the violent man who had terrorized Renai in their daughter's room appears and launches a vicious attack. After a tense struggle, Josh defeats him and steps through the red door, determined to save his son. Josh and Dalton enter the further, a dark and eerie dimension, and arrive at the demon's lair. Inside a cavernous red room, Josh finds Dalton chained to the floor, crying. Determined to rescue his son, Josh breaks the chains, but their escape is quickly interrupted as the red-faced demon senses their presence and launches an attack. Father and son make a frantic run for their physical bodies, with the demon relentlessly chasing them. As they near their return, Josh encounters the shadowy old woman inside his house. Confronting his childhood tormentor, he shouts at her to leave him alone, declaring he is no longer afraid. The old woman retreats into the darkness, and at that moment, both Josh and Dalton awaken in their bodies, causing the spirits haunting them to disappear. Relief washes over the reunited family as they enjoy a quiet moment in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Elise and Josh prepare to wrap up the long and exhausting ordeal. When Josh hands Elise his childhood photographs, she senses something unsettling. Acting on instinct, she quickly snaps a picture of Josh. Enraged, Josh lashes out, screaming about his hatred of being photographed. In a shocking twist, he attacks Elise and strangles her to death. Hearing the commotion, Renai rushes in to find Elise lifeless and Josh nowhere to be seen. As she searches the eerily silent house, she finds Elise's camera and discovers a horrifying photograph. The image shows not Josh, but the shadowy old woman, her gnarled hand and nails unmistakable. Realizing the truth, Renai understands that Josh has been possessed by the old woman. As this revelation dawns on her, Josh suddenly appears behind Renai, placing his hand on her shoulder. In a haunting post-credits moment, the shadowy old woman reappears. She approaches a flickering candle, her presence unsettling and ominous. This film masterfully combines psychological tension with jump scares, creating a haunting experience that lingers long after the credits roll. With its terrifying twists, unsettling atmosphere, and unforgettable characters, Insidious remains a standout in modern horror. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling movie recaps.